Time series is a kind of a niche, and there aren't too many expert practitioners as compared to other areas of data science. So let's make sure we're first clear on that. So time series, I would describe it to be more like an experiment-intensive art, where there is not one magic bullet or one way of doing it. You kind of have very small tricks that you've learned over a period of time, and then it's practice. It's just like playing a piano or a violin or a cello. So there's no magic bullet. So current practice, so I can get to your labor shortage question. Current practice is your homegrown, whatever you call it, stuff that doesn't cut it. Now, I'm not talking about semiconductor companies or high-tech companies. I'm talking about the big four, the cloud. Companies who are attracting this huge AI talent, they have their own internal people. They have semi-professionals, without naming any company, semi-professionals who use general purpose models, some rudimentary out-of-box libraries, come up with some ridiculous model, put out some output, adjust it a little bit, work on it for 2 weeks a year, and then move on to the next department. No one uses it, let alone checking if there was any revenue or margin left on the table. And out of box is not blaming these people. Out of box, ultimately, John, is black box. And so if you, regardless of the labor shortage problem, you're dealing with a black box, it's difficult to understand, even for somebody who went through some classes, what made the model go wrong? Or retrospectively investigating what could be improved. So there is a performance ceiling with all of this. So, I mean, it's a wide open frontier.
Jay, I just interviewed a company, a startup in San Francisco, ex-Amazonian, ex-AWS folks, and what was interesting is they have a product that does metering for usage-based billing. And their number one customers are people switching from subscription to usage. My point is that they found they're growing so fast because the internal teams that build these meters, oh wait, we can do this, we don't want to outsource other companies' software. It ends up becoming a black box in 3 years because people leave, domain-specific experts move on to other jobs, so what they built internally becomes a black box, which you mentioned earlier in different contexts is no one likes a black box because then like, what is this? So I think you're starting to see trust with suppliers who actually are experts at something. And these guys are expert at metering for usage, and they're killing it because they solve the problem because the do it yourself, build it, or use a partner. Yeah, it looks like I can do it on paper, but after a few years, it ends up becoming a black box, and because it's revenue specific. It impacts revenue. Usage, because some people don't even measure usage on like their apps. Well, we have all these downloads, and they go, well, no one's using it, so they're probably going to cancel, which helps them with their forecasting. This is where I think is interesting. So, I see the alternative piece there. I get the labor shortage, and also labor leaving. Labor shortage and then labor migration. Like I was working on a project and I move over here. I'm a great cello player. I moved on to another band, right? It's like, okay. So I see those two things. Now the third problem is, what's the third problem? Is planning, which I think this kind of ties into. So I want to get into that. How does the planning problem get solved?
So right up, and we'll come back to the labor if you like after this, but on the planner, so CEO, COO, CFO, the VP, are not making these decisions. These billion-dollar financial impact things that you're talking about, unfortunately, it's not at that level. Someone calls a CEO, and I'm not naming any particular company, an escalation occurs. The rest of the team takes ad hoc supply and allocates it, allocation, to this one customer without looking at the impact on other customers and regions. And there is a disconnect. So where's the problem? There is a disconnect within internal departments. Planners make decisions, but the planner adoption of these models is low to non-existent today. Referring to your black box earlier, that's connected here. What is happening is somebody came in, some internal team, they've stitched these systems together. Some person left the company, some other came out. The whole final product that after all the planner has to use is complex and hard to use, and planners don't care about math. Planners, of course, care about math, though, but they care about user interaction model, speed, and flexibility.